In May 2022, a couple was walking along the edge of Lake Mead, the largest reservoir in the United States. They had planned for a quiet day. Instead, they found a rusted metal barrel stuck in the muddy shoreline. Inside was a body. A man who'd been shot in the head and stuffed inside decades earlier. As the water kept receding, Lake Mead began revealing more secrets: skeletons, bullets, bones. And the question became terrifyingly clear: how many bodies are buried beneath this lake? On May 1st, 2022, the drought in the American Southwest hit a grim milestone. Lake Mead, straddling Nevada and Arizona, had dropped to record low levels. So low that parts of the lakebed hadn't been seen since the 1970s. A family hiking near Hemingway Harbor on the Nevada side saw something strange on the shore: a rusted barrel half buried in the mud. They got closer and immediately backed away, because inside the barrel was a human skeleton, folded unnaturally, still wearing 1970s-style clothing and shoes. The body had a gunshot wound to the head. Las Vegas police quickly announced this was a homicide, a murder, not an accident. The body had been dumped in the lake sometime in the late 1970s or early 1980s, based on the victim's shoes and belt. The barrel was a classic mob dumping method.
Old school Las Vegas, especially in the 1970s, was a city built by the mob. The Chicago outfit, New York families, and other syndicates ran the casinos, skimmed profits, and eliminated anyone who crossed them. And Lake Mead? That was the perfect place to hide a body.
One retired cop told reporters, "We always knew the lake held secrets. We just never thought they'd start floating up." Just 1 week after the first barrel, it happened again. On May 7th, 2022, a second body was found near Colville Bay, also in Lake Mead. This time, the remains were in a sandbank, not a barrel. But again, no ID, no cause of death, just bones. Then more. In July, a third body was found in Swim Beach, partially buried. In August, more human bones were discovered by paddleboarders. By the end of 2022, at least 5 separate sets of remains had been uncovered from the lake. Each time, the public asked the same thing: how many more are still down there? If you're hooked so far, hit subscribe, because the next story might be even darker than this one. Now, back to the case. Despite DNA testing, the identity of the man in the barrel remains unknown, but experts believe he was likely a mob victim, killed execution style. Possibly a casino employee, bookkeeper, or rival, someone who knew too much. Some speculate the murder may be tied to the Stardust Casino, which was heavily mob-connected in the 70s. Others think it could be a case of mob debt enforcement, someone who refused to pay up. But the barrel itself said a lot. The type of steel was manufactured in the 70s. The way the body was bent meant it was forced in immediately after death. The placement in the lake was intentional, at a depth once unreachable. The killer never expected the water to drop. Lake Mead's water levels have been dropping for years due to climate change and overuse. The Colorado River, which feeds the lake, can't keep up with demand from Las Vegas, Phoenix, LA, and beyond. As the shoreline retreats, history is being uncovered, literally. A World War II landing craft resurfaced. Old gun casings and stolen cars were discovered. And more barrels, some empty, some still sealed. Environmental scientists call this drought archaeology, but in Lake Mead, it's mob archaeology. The identity of the man in the barrel is still unknown. So is his killer. But as the lake keeps shrinking, so does the cover that's protected decades of buried crimes. Because the truth is, you can dump a body in the desert. You can sink it in the lake. But eventually, nature brings it back up. And when the past floats to the surface, you better hope it doesn't have your name on it. Thanks for watching Short Crime Stories. New crimes drop weekly. Subscribe to never miss a case.